Good morning, everybody. How you doing? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Well, my chat's looking weird. Let me find that again. Docs, chats. Maybe I should select this one. Yeah, it's looking wacky. What's up with my OBS right now? Weird. Anyway, hey, how's it going? I woke up this time. Hurrah! um, yes. Good morning. Good afternoon in America. Good morning in Japan. Um, yeah, yeah. Past few days I haven't been able to wake up, but today I was able to do it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna actually try to wake up, and I did. And I'm running off of. I went to bed at 12, and woke up at like 5:50. So I'm running off of like 5 hours of sleep. This is my drink I'm gonna have today. Pretty good, pretty delicious, pretty yummy. But yeah, yeah. Today we're gonna be drawing. It's gonna be a fun time. You know, I've been I've been thinking about my streams and wondering if I should create something in regards to like a starting intro, so that way it just like counts down, counts down. Hey Rihanna, how's it good? How's it going? How's it going? It's good to see you. Um, Let me see. Your sacrifice won't be in vain. Yes, I've been really wanting to, draw. I okay. So I see this, and I'm like, man, I really want to draw. I want to keep drawing. But then I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, oh snap! It's really late. It's almost 8. Oh my gosh! Speaking of which, I'm gonna be putting on my Mario socks while I talk real quick. Mario socks. I got these for Christmas from my parents. Very fun stuff. But yeah, let's hang out for a bit. Um, yes. So yeah, I was thinking about how old. It's weird to say that it's old, but whenever I was growing up, I had these Friday afternoon cartoons that I would watch whenever I got home um, from school, and it was Cartoon Fridays, and it had this really cool intro where there was a bunch of cartoons getting ready to have the it's a really cool intro where everyone in like Cartoon Network, the old and the new, were hanging out at a studio and getting ready for the live stream of Tommy and Tara, where they would show brand new cartoons and different things. And they had a really, really cool intro. And actually, I want to show you that. So today we're going to continue listening to Zelda music. But before we do that, let me show you that intro. It was Cartoon Fridays. And it was one of the coolest intros I had heard. This one. And it's just a banger. I had all the Cartoon Network characters and everything just flying through, you know. It's been a long. But it's like it's got all the old characters working, just there eating in the lunch hall and different stuff. And it was pretty awesome. I was so excited whenever this would pop up. Whenever I got home, I would turn on the TV and wait like 10 to 15 minutes, and then it would start. And it would be like a new cartoon every Friday. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was like 9 or 10. Yeah. And this song still is like ingrained in my head. And I kind of want that for streaming. I kind of want something like that for streaming. I like how professional and high quality it is for um, how professional and high quality it is for I guess for the time, for cartoons or whatever. But you know, maybe something more detective-y themed for Viable. I don't know. I could make something. This is really sliding. Of course, everything was much more scripted back then, because they knew exactly what they were going to say and they read off a teleprompter, which I don't have. But if I were to make streams for a living, that's kind of the kind of stuff I would want to include. You know, I think that's a really cool thing. Anyway, today I have 2 milk teas because whenever I got home, the store was closed. It closed at 10 p.m. and I got home at like 10:45. And then my friend Zach wanted to try out a Minecraft modding server that ended up not working. That might be why my OBS is looking a bit wacky. Or maybe it's just because I didn't close it for a long time. Because I've kept OBS open, just ready to stream. I just got to push the button, but I just didn't wake up early enough because I'm a silly boy, silly man. But yes, I am here. I'm gonna grab. I also have. I've also been playing a lot of DDR to try to like get myself tired enough to go to bed. And because pretty much the last week or two, I haven't been, or not the last week or two, just the last week, I haven't been able to wake up very well, and that's been frustrating. And I really wanted to wake up. And I heard exercise helps you with that. So I've been playing DDR, and yep, DDR is a lot of fun. Anyway, I also have an Aquarius, so I need to get my electrolytes. So I'll be RB. Gonna grab that. Aquarius is a sports drink in Japan. It's one of the 2, and it's the only one that doesn't sound weird. The weird one is Pocari Sweat. Yeah, I know, that's a bizarre name. A Pocari Sweat. Don't they name it that? I think they were thinking, oh, people sweat. This is a good drink to have when you sweat. But nope, they decided to call the drink Pocari Sweat, to where it's like, you're drinking sweat. It's disgusting sounding. But yeah, this is basically a Gatorade. But one flavor. It's the white Gatorade flavor, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, just trying to stay hydrated, keep my electrolytes. Alright. I'm going to be chugging that and my milk tea. And I'm going to be drawing Vassa. And yeah. And I still have all of these references up. Yeah, I still have like this. I still have all this. Well, that's me. Hi, how you doing? That's just, yeah. Anyway, I have all this, and I'm gonna go with this, and we're gonna keep drawing. Sweet, I'm excited. For those who do not know, but of course Rihanna knows, Viable is a copyleft manga, which means you are allowed to freely copy, distribute, and make derivatives of my manga. Rihanna says, I'm going to be right back. Have fun drawing. Thank you for hopping in. Say hi when you're back, and I'll say hi back. But most people should know that Viable is a copyleft manga. That means it is free to copy, distribute, and modify my manga for free, so long as you credit me and make your derivatives copyleft as well. So you allow other people to copy, modify, and make derivatives of your manga, or your video, or your stuff that's based off of mine. So you don't have to do that for everything, just the manga that you make. Not the manga, just the derivatives of my manga that you make. Anyway, this character is Vassa. He's one of the main characters. He's a Soviet Russian detective, and he's very, very big. He's a big, bulky man. And I wanted to redesign him from my previous design, which was, hold on. if you go to the description down here and go to document files for the manga, you can find finished pages, miscellaneous art, rough drafts, and story writing / drafts. All right, you'll find the original concept art of Vasa in the miscellaneous art section. So that's where you'll find that. And here is the original concept zone. The original concept is here. This is my first drawing of Vasa, if it will load, which it might not. I don't know, it's taking its time. But compared to the current drawing of Vasa that I have, he is pretty skinny. A pretty skinny lad. There he is. Yeah. Now these aren't patches, it's just that Google rendered it that way for some reason. There he goes. Yeah, but he's pretty skinny. He's got more Lloyd Forger vibes from Spy Family. And then I redrew him for the cover here. He looks more cartoony here. And I didn't like it. I wanted it to be better, stronger, faster. And so I started experimenting with his face shape and his build, his body. We drew this a couple streams ago. And now we're drawing what we're going to be using, and I'm liking this a lot. So I'm going to continue from here. Yeah. Vasa is a Soviet-Russian detective in an alternate history where the socialist leader of Japan, whose name was Eijiro Asanuma, I think it was, where he didn't get assassinated. He was a man who was assassinated in the 60s, and he was a man who was assassinated in the 60s, and he hold on. Where am I going? I'm going this way. Boom. We're using AI art, by the way, as reference. He was a man who was assassinated in the 60s, and as a result of that, the Socialist Party of Japan died out. The two different factions, one more extreme, leaning towards communism, and the other less extreme, again leaning towards, I guess, democratic socialism. They hated each other, so they eventually split as a result of Asanuma dying. Yeah, he was like the glue that was holding the party together. In my alternate history, there was a and actually this was written by my friend Ben, because Viable, which is the name of my manga, was originally supposed to be written by my friend Ben, but he just got busy and wasn't able to continue. But yeah, so in the story, Aonuma, Eiji Aonuma, that's the Zelda guy, isn't it? What's his name? Asanuma, right? Asanuma. Not Asabu. Asanuma. Inejiro Asanuma. That's his name. Inejiro Asanuma. He got assassinated by a young kid. By a 17-year-old. But yeah, Inejiro Asanuma was killed in this picture. Shows the moment he got stabbed. Pretty wild. But he was the glue that was holding the party together, and as a result of his death, I'm so tired. As a result of his death, the party basically fell apart. And with the party falling apart, how short should I make this? With the party falling apart, why is this not black? With the party falling apart, in my alternate history, where Japan is socialist, he more people started to follow socialism. They gained a lot more seats in the parliament and had a peaceful, maybe not so peaceful, I don't know. They had a coup of some sort to basically integrate socialism slash kind of a more extremist socialism, similar to Soviet Russia, with the backing of Soviet Russia, in Japan, which allowed Soviet Russia to basically replace America in the Japanese influence side of things. Because currently, in our actual history, America is basically in charge of Japan. Not in charge, but they're our closest allies. As a result of the LDP party, the Liberal Democratic Party, which is it's not liberal in the American sense of the word, but it's a conservative party, which in a way is also corporatist. But it's like what you would think of like a typical excuse me, a typical Republican sort of, in a lot of ways. A lot of other ways they aren't Republican. They have social Medicare, socialized Medicare and stuff, for example. But they're mostly Republican in a lot of ways. It's best to just think of them that way if you're not into Japanese politics. Hair is hard. To draw hair, you gotta have confident lines. And you gotta be able to basically roll with it. I'm gonna look at my previous drawing of Vassa real quick and see how I made that hair. Zoom in on him. So different, so skinny. Yeah, I made the hair quite a bit different. I like the new hair, but I also like how simple the old hair is. Making things simple makes it easier to draw, and quicker to draw. But with manga, you don't have to be simple. It's just that I come from an animation background, so I'm used to drawing much simpler drawings. The little girl on the bottom right, her name is Lucy. In the story, she is a character that is only visible to Vassa. He discovers her during a case, and he wonders, who is she? Where did she come from? Is she a figment of my imagination as a result of a traumatic experience that happened? You know? So, that's fun. And I think she's adorable. She's kind of comic relief and just helps throughout the case and different things. You can learn more about the story if you go back to, where the miscellaneous art and stuff is. Go back to Viable Chapter 1. You go to the story writing in drafts. Here's the first chapter, just written out. So you can go there if you're interested. But yeah. Let me go back to my reference. Today we're listening to chill Zelda music with beach stuff. So that way we have a pretty chill stream for you to work in. I'll be talking, of course, while drawing. But you can feel free to ignore me. I'm just giving commentary on what I'm doing. Yeah. I think this specific song is actually from Skyward Sword. I could be wrong. Okay. Yeah. But yes, Zelda is one of my favorite games growing up. My favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask. I'm one of those. Just because of how good the side quests are and how thought-provoking they are. I really enjoyed that. The most nostalgic Zelda game for me is Ocarina of Time. I highly recommend anyone like Rihanna, who had not played Ocarina of Time before, to play it. Welcome back, Rihanna. It's good to see you. I forgot what I was erasing. Oh well. But yes, we are listening to Zelda chill music. It's gonna be fun. Fixing up the hair. Look pretty good. Yeah. So originally I thought this was how it looked, but it turns out I was in mirror mode. Whoopsies. Yeah, this is the actual what it looks like. It's not. So I was drawing it like this, thinking, oh, this is the way it is, but it was actually mirrored, which is fine. It just means I did a good job drawing, because it looks good. It looks good both ways. So. I'm gonna erase some here. Here. But yes, welcome back. Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, you got it. Play Ocarina of Time first. It is, some would argue, the best video game of all time. But Majora's Mask, if you are going to play it, play the original. Don't play the 3DS version. I guess you can play the 3DS version. It has the same story and themes and stuff. I just don't think the gameplay is as good as the original. Which is on the Nintendo 64. And I have them both actually right here. Eh. I collect retro games. But yes, I have both of them. These are the English versions. It's mirrored on my camera, but Ocarina of Time first. Play that first. Then Majora's Mask. You don't have to have the golden cartridge. You can have the silver one. I just have the rare golden cartridge, and I think this is worth like $30 more than the average cartridge. I got it when I was in middle school. It was one of the only ones available at Game Exchange, and my dad got it for me. So that was fun. I basically begged him to get it for me because I saw it was the sequel to Ocarina of Time that I didn't know existed. I was like, what is this? What is this amazing thing? And yeah, I begged my dad for it. And yeah, I was like 12, I think. And I was actually old enough to understand the themes. Unlike when I played Ocarina of Time for the first time, it was just more of a sense of adventure. And which is fine, perfectly fine. It was a great game. It's just different, you know. Ocarina of Time's story is simpler, I think, than Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask has a lot of different things. And if you want a very complex story in Zelda, Twilight Princess is great for that. Some would argue, actually, that Skyward Sword has the best story. I just don't like the art style of Skyward Sword, which I also have, which you can get on the Switch, which is cool. Skyward Sword is on the Switch. It's kind of hand-holdy with its gameplay. It's great that you enjoyed the game too. Makes the golden cartridge more epic. That's true. That's true. The golden cartridge has like a 3D effect on it. It's got one of those. Oh, I forgot what they call them. It's like when you turn it, you know, one of those effects. Ooh, it actually looks really cool in the camera. But yeah, it's one of those things that just go, you know. But it looks better in on the camera than it does in real life. In real life, it looks kind of blurry, but on there, it's pretty clear, pretty clear. That's awesome. That's really cool. Anyway. Yeah, they only did that for special limited edition runs. I think it was like the first batch. And they have a golden cartridge version of Ocarina of Time too. I just don't have that one. I have them in Japanese too, the games. And I have I have a weird hobby of old retro video games on Nintendo 64. I just really like the Nintendo 64. It's a very nostalgic system for me. And I make custom game cases for my Nintendo 64 games. That's based on the Japanese art. I actually have so many 64 games that I brought from home now that I need to buy a ton more cases for them. I have like, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, plus 3 more, so 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. I have about 40 Nintendo 64 cases that don't have a case that I need to get a case for. And here's an example of a case that I made. Sorry, I'm getting into hobby things that I do outside of the stream. I got this is a Japanese Mario Party case based on the box art. So I have an actual box art. In Japan, they're cool because they're up and down, right? So this is like an actual game. Oh, okay, I'm following. Thank you, chair, for making me slowly go down. But yeah, this is an actual box art of an actual game that I bought. And this is a Japanese exclusive. And yeah, this is a Japanese exclusive game, and it's an actual box. And as you can see, it's made of cardboard, and it's wrapped in plastic. But it's made of cardboard and wrapped in plastic. I cannot talk today. Wrapped in plastic, and they actually get a lot of wear and tear. It's kind of hard to find these in their original box. And so what I do is I buy these plastic cases, and then I make a Japanese case based off of the box art. And what's cool about that is I can also print the inside. So here's the Japanese Mario Party. I can also print the inside of the case as well. So I took official artwork renders of Mario Party, and I printed it on the inside. So these are custom-made cases that I made for my Nintendo 64 games that are based on the Japanese box art. And for my American games, I'm going to base it on the American box art, which is going to be fun. Why do you have them in Japanese, though? Do you get them for learning Japanese purposes? That is exactly why I get them. It's a bunch of games that I already know in English, because I've played through a ton of them. And, yeah. And so it's a good learning tool for learning Japanese. And also, they're very cheap in Japan. Like, most of these were like 300 yen each, which is like, I don't know, $2, $2 and maybe 25 cents per game in Japan. So that's insanely cheap. That's why I have so many. Most of my American games that I have are from home, so I'm probably not going to be getting any more American games than the ones I already have. unless I buy them off the internet or something. But you know, sometimes I just go to a Akihabara or some Japanese store, and I can just buy the games and just go from there. So, which is really, really cool that I can buy them for so cheap. But what's not cool about that is that I see all the games that I want to buy, and I just buy them because they're so cheap, and then I end up spending $100 on 20 games that I don't have cases for. So, yeah. I mean, okay, to be fair, like, let's say it costs $250, right? $250 per game. If I buy 20 games, that's like $250 times 20 math. 2 of them is $5, right? So 2 of them is $5. So 4 of them would be $10. And so yeah, it'd be like $40. Yeah? Which is the price of one new game of like a Switch game, right? Or even more actually. It's like $60 now. So like, yeah, I'd be spending $40 on the equivalent of 20 games, 20 old retro games. Yes, it is game hoarding. I bought Resident Evil and I haven't touched that yet, but that game itself is a miracle that it's even on the system. Anyway, there are a few games that I do play, and Getter Love, which is a Japanese exclusive game that I showed you before. That is one of them. It is a dating sim that is actually my new favorite Japanese exclusive game that I've purchased. I would like, eventually, whenever I'm much more in the space of streaming, I would like to have maybe fun Fridays where I just stream video games or some stuff instead of drawing. And I like drawing, but yeah, I'd like to have my own hobbies be sort of shown in that. How do I draw this? Hair's hard, isn't it? Okay. I'm gonna look back to this one. And he drew it. When I say he, I mean the AI. But yeah, I would like to do video games, like old retro games. I have a Steam Deck, so I can stream it. It's just like, yeah, I just don't have a lot of time to do that right now because of work. But if I, Lord willing, and I can do this full time, that would be fun. That would be a ton of fun for me to play old Japanese exclusives, make videos on them too. Yeah, because Nintendo 64 is my favorite console. The second favorite probably being the GameCube. I've never been like a Xbox or PlayStation guy. My brother was more into that. My brother is, I think, Team PlayStation, but there was a lot of heat back in the day from other friends and stuff. It's like, do you like Xbox or PlayStation? And I was like, I like Nintendo. That's like asking, do you like tea or coffee? I like hot chocolate. It's like, but yeah, it's very nostalgic. Nintendo, unfortunately, their hardware and system was actually very difficult to program for, and so they ended up actually not having a lot of games on their systems outside of like the Wii, which was kind of the exception to that, and the Switch now, and their handhelds. Their DS was very much third party developer friendly, which means a lot of shovelware was on it, but you also had a lot more options game wise. And but as a result of that, with their older consoles such as the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, they have a lot of high quality first party games on their platform. Super Smash Bros. Melee is on the GameCube. You got Mario Kart. You got all the Mario parties. You got Zelda, which is just an insane game. You have in the older ones, you have more IPs too that they just ignore now. Um, I like how fun for everyone Nintendo games are, and yeah, definitely there's nostalgia. And for me, actually, that's a big point. The fun for everyone thing. I have friends over all the time, and Nintendo games, old Nintendo games, still are things I go back to. I played Mario Party with my friends who come over to this apartment all the time. I play it in Japanese. I tell them, hey, I have the American version. Which one do you want to play? And they're like, well, I want to play the Japanese one because we're in Japan. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's play that. Um, whenever I go over to my church friend John, whenever I go to his house, we always play Nintendo 64 because he also has a Nintendo 64. It's just like, you know, it's it's party games. They're really good for local multiplayer, which a lot of modern games don't do nowadays. In fact, they're online only if they are multiplayer, and usually that's just the game. And even like Xbox, whenever it was in its prime, like with the Xbox 360, that was probably the best console from Microsoft. Um, they were focused nearly entirely on online gaming, and that's one thing I didn't really like about my brother's like playing games or whatever. I could never play with him. I always enjoyed family time and hanging out with my friends. Um, and just having that interaction. My brother though, he would always get mad if he lost, especially at some bullcrap games like Mario Party. Um, Caleb says, "Hey fella, how goes it? It goes good. We're talking about the console wars of the olden days. We're listening to Zelda music, and that's what kind of spurred on the conversation. Here's Vasa. I'm drawing him. I drew a guideline for his chin. I need to draw his mouth. We gave him a cleft. So, but yeah, hey Caleb, it's good to see you. Thanks for hopping in. But yeah, Nintendo games. Those are definitely my favorite consoles, just because it brought people together, and it tore families apart with Mario Party. But no, I'm just kidding. My brother hates Mario Party, just because it's luck based, and he has some of the worst luck. I would say Mario Party is like probably 30% luck, 70% skill. And when you have 0% luck, no amount of skill is going to really do it for you when your brother also has both luck and skill. So I had both luck and skill, and my brother had skill but no luck, so I would always win. So he hates Mario Party. My friend Ben hates Mario Party for the same reason. He never wins. But other games like Mario Tennis, which is a underrated game, like in so many ways. I played Mario Tennis with my friends so much in Japan. It is such an underrated game. On the 64. And I love tennis. I just love tennis generally. That's the sport I played in high school and in college. And so Mario Tennis is a lot of fun because it kind of not only shows my friends how to play tennis and why it's so fun, but it keeps that intensity of it before they added all the gimmicks of like the GameCube version of Mario Tennis. So basically, with the 64 version of Mario Tennis, you got the slice, you got the top spin, things you can actually do in real life. You're just playing as a giant monkey named Donkey Kong, right? It's also the first Mario game to have Waluigi in it, and the last Mario game to have Donkey Kong Jr. as a playable character outside of, I guess, the phone Mario Kart game. They replaced Donkey Kong Jr. with Diddy Kong for pretty much everything after that. So It was the last time you can play as Donkey Kong Jr. The lore is, speaking of Donkey Kong lore, the lore is that Donkey Kong Jr. became the modern Donkey Kong, and the old Donkey Kong became Cranky Kong. So do with that as you will. Sheik is definitely one of my favorite characters in Zelda. I'm not going to spoil it for Rihanna because she hasn't played Ocarina of Time. I don't know if you've played Smash Brothers. It would spoil it for you if you played Smash Brothers and you played as Sheik. I guess not the new one, but if you played Melee or Brawl, it would spoil it for you. But Sheik is one of my favorite characters in Zelda, and the songs that are played, like din 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 din, din that just played, that is a really nostalgic thing for me. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much everyone knows it's like a 25-year-old game, maybe older. Oh snap! Hold on. Where's the copyright on this? Copyright 1996, 1997, Nintendo. Is this game as old as I am? Oh my gosh. I was born in 96. So, if this game released in 96, that's wild. I have Paper Mario. When was that released? Okay, no. So the 64 was made in 96. I know Paper Mario was made in like 2000. So, I don't know when Zelda was made. But, it is nearly... It's a person in their 20s. Yeah, the Nintendo 64 is definitely in their 20s, my age-ish. I would legit, no irony, play a game starring Waluigi, bonus points if Waluigi and Wario. Yes, if you've ever seen the Mario Tennis intro for the GameCube, which I also have, it is one, the animation is just amazing. It stars Waluigi and Wario and Bowser, but it's really, really funny. It's really well animated, and it's one of the craziest animation sequences I've ever seen in a Nintendo game. I kind of just want to stop the stream real quick and show it because of how crazy it is. But it is a few minutes long. And actually, I don't have a lot of time today. I gotta quit at around 8, so I only have like an hour and 15 minutes left. But because I have a meeting at 9. But that being said, if y'all want to watch the Waluigi and Wario Mario Tennis cutscene, let me know. I'll show it on stream. And I think the reason why they included that is because Camelot actually invented Waluigi, not Nintendo. Waluigi was supposed to be a character that you hated, and that was or that your friends troll as because he's just supposed to be this lanky thing that you want to beat up, right? And that was kind of the idea of the designers did for Waluigi, because Wario didn't have a partner, and so Luigi could be Mario's partner. So what are we gonna do for Wario? Let's make a Waluigi. And the word wa just comes from the Japanese word warui, which means bad, right? So Wario is just bad Mario. Waluigi is just bad Luigi. Oh, Waluigi is bad Waluigi. That's a Dorkly bit, which is really funny. If you've ever seen Dorkly, they make some really, really funny, old nostalgic. How do I go about drawing this hair? They make some really good old nostalgic Mario-based comedy skits. Not only Mario-based, they do Mega Man and other old games. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Mario Tennis. I liked the 64 version the best because it was before they added the power gimmicks. Some people like the gimmicks. I just think it's not as realistic. It's harder to get people introduced into actual tennis with it. Oh, oh no! It's my arch nemesis, Waluigi. What? Wow, Luigi. That's such a good bit. That's so funny. Uh, oh my gosh. He was previously talking about like how he has garlic under his toenails and stuff. Yeah, so Waluigi was intentionally made as a player who you just want to beat up. And it wasn't until Camelot made it that Nintendo liked him so much they started adding him into Mario Party. And Mario Party 3, which is also on the Nintendo 64, was the second game I think that Waluigi was in. And he just kind of just kept joining the party games and the sports games. They added him in Mario Golf in the GameCube version of the game. They added him. They didn't have him in the 64 version because they made Mario Golf before Mario Tennis. Um, Speaking of Mario Tennis, I have a lot of weird knowledge. Clipping his toenails at the restaurant, drinking soup out of a bag with a straw. Yeah. And Luigi was like, no, thank you. Suit yourself. Oh my gosh. They did a good job characterizing him. Yeah, speaking of Mario Tennis, though, and they don't do this anymore. The original Mario Tennis came coupled with a Game Boy Color game, and the Game Boy Color game had had an RPG like element where you start off pretty weak, and actually, my Japanese copy of the game had someone else's Game Boy Color characters on it, and you can use the transfer pack to plug it into the Nintendo 64 and unlock four new characters, two guys and two girls. One named Alex, their original names. I think that was Alex, Harry, Mina, and I forgot the last one. I think her name was like Jane or something. But those four characters are exclusive just to Mario Tennis. They show up again as coaches in the Game Boy Advanced version of the game. But anyway, which is really cool. You get to see like the characters you played as in future installments of the game. But unfortunately, about Mario Tennis, the RPG element, that was my childhood. I played that game under my covers, going to sleep at night. When I had a Nintendo 64 right there, I played the Game Boy Color version instead because it was an RPG, right? Except instead of like battle systems, you played tennis. It was insanely innovative for its time. Not a lot of people like conceptualized, oh, this is a tennis RPG game. That's pretty freaking awesome, right? And basically it was your standard story. You basically start off in this tennis academy. You join the varsity team by defeating players, and you have to go through like two levels of players, basically. Going from hair is so hard to draw. I'm sorry, that's I keep getting distracted by this Mario and Nintendo stuff. But basically, you go through two levels of players until you eventually get to face off the varsity, one of the members of the varsity team, and then you take his place or their place if you're playing doubles in the varsity team. So it's a simple story, and then you go off to a tournament. You defeat the people in the tournament, and then you get invited by Mario to play against Mario in the Mushroom Kingdom place, which just happens to be a thing in this universe. It's a really bizarre game because it's all human characters until you get to Mario Land, where suddenly there's like Yoshis and Toads and stuff. It's like and a giant monkey just and a baby playing tennis. It's weird. Keep drawing. My passion for old Nintendo games is showing. But yeah, that game was so fun. And it had really banger music, as Nintendo games tend to have. Just insanely good music, like better music than they deserve to have. I don't even know why. Like, if a Nintendo game, even when it misses, man, and it rarely misses. A Nintendo game is very, very, very rarely missing. It always has banger music. I can't think of a Nintendo game that has god awful music. In fact, I can't really think of many games that have god awful music. Though I don't play a lot of games besides Nintendo games. So that's probably why. But like even Animal Crossing, man, some of those things just hit, you know? Totally. Rihanna says, yeah, little Vasa has a nice shaved side haircut going on right now. It's like, I started my ADHD meds lately, by the way. Oh, cool. Rihanna says, totally getting distracted, lol. Lurking. There's this Yoshi game that has annoying music, though. I don't remember which one. Probably. Okay, yeah, Yoshi. There's Yoshi's Story, which is on the Nintendo 64. But, like, it goes. But even that was just, like, adorable at the time, you know? It was cute. I can rock with that. I can rock with a bunch of Yosh. Now I'm singing over my Zelda music, so. Maybe Yoshi Topsy Turvy? I don't know. That obscure Game Boy Advanced game. You know what, Rihanna? For that, I'm gonna play that music now. That is what we're doing. We're gonna listen to Yoshi. We're gonna listen to Yoshi. We're gonna pause this. We're gonna get back to this. We're gonna listen to Yoshi Story. End credits. Why did I Google? Oh, because I put a comma instead of a dot. Yoshi Story end credit or ending theme. There, I'm gonna subject you to this now. They even have that guitar playing. It's a good song. I like it. They even put it in Smash Bros. They put it in Smash Bros. Sorry, I didn't go back to my drawing. They put it in Smash Bros. It's that good. It hits. Somehow, it hits so hard, you can beat up other characters with it. Let me go back and go to my reference. I should make this my ending theme now. You'll probably hear the annoying part soon, though, honestly. It's really relaxing. Drawing a Soviet man with a... There it is. There's the theme. And then the Yoshis are going to start singing alongside that. And that's when people are like, oh, that's annoying. Oh, no. But no, I actually think it's cute. This is very nostalgic. Oh my gosh. It's been so long since I played Yoshi's Story. I don't have the Japanese version. I do have the English version. I wonder if Kazumi Totaka worked on this. So Kazumi Totaka, and this is a relatively well-known... There they are. There's the Yosh. Oh my god, they're out of tune. They just joined in. Yeah, there it is. That's cute though. It's like little kids singing. I think that's what they were going for. I think they actually had little kids singing. Let's make sure it's not the troll. When the Yoshi said unintelligible Yoshi noises, I felt that. Oh, yeah, a lot of people have very nostalgic feelings for this. I read someone in the comments missed their mom listening to this. That's sad, but also sweet. I like how some of them are not only off tune, but they're also like, I'm gonna sing off the beat, like little kids. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for, trying to make the Yosh sound like children. Yoshi's Story is a very interesting game because it's not only stylized interesting, it's like, and it kind of still works. Most Yoshi games, like, you don't even realize that they are like old games. Like if you played Yoshi's, I think it was oh, was that it? Oh my gosh, that was so short. Is that 3 minutes, really? That did not feel like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That felt like, yeah, that, oh my gosh. That was so short. Anyway, back to Zelda. What was I saying? Something about Yoshi. Oh yeah. The graphics. The graphics are always amazing in Yoshi games. Like you look at Yoshi's Island for the SNES, the Super Nintendo. That looked like a Game Boy Advanced game, right? I guess the Game Boy Advance is a 16-bit system, and they did port it to the Game Boy Advance. But that's a good looking game, you know, especially compared to other SNES games or NES games. And the SNES had some really good graphics too. But this is like Link's Awakening was on the SNES, right? So Link had pink hair, and you know there was some weird things going on there. And people think that game is better than Ocarina of Time. Some people do, like Ego Raptor and stuff. But the graphics, like Yoshi is so animated in that game, so well animated, and oh my gosh. I also think of things like Star Fox, the original Star Fox being on the SNES. And that's more Caleb's era. I was not. I didn't have. Speaking of which, Caleb, I think most of your SNES games are at my parents' house. I think you brought them over. They're in my drawer. I found SNES games in my drawer, and I'm like, who do these belong to? But I think they're yours, Caleb, because Will was probably playing them for Brobits, which Brobits was a live, not a live. It was a let's play series for Will, me, and Caleb. Mostly Caleb. Me and Will were the people in a similar vein to like Game Grumps, right? And it kind of merged with Caleb's channel, and Will. I think Will sometimes still come on, or me, whenever I'm not in Japan, or whenever we can stream, I guess. I'd be happy to go back to doing Brobits again, Caleb, if you're ever interested. We had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun playing games with Caleb. Like, even though like those years were kind of the darkest times of my life with my grandpa dying and everything, like that was kind of a highlight, I would say. That was definitely a highlight, just playing games with Caleb. And you can tell that my brother and my moods were really bad back then. If you go watch the you go watch the Brobits streams way back when, we were fighting each other. We were like at each other's throats, in a lot of ways, just because we both had really bad moods. But both of our mental states have improved a ton since then. And thank you, Caleb, for being there for us. That's probably one of the biggest things I appreciate Caleb for. He was really there for us during probably the hardest time of our lives. So he would travel 2.5 hours just to see us, like by car. He was a good friend. Caleb's a really good friend, you know. There's not as many people, and that was before like I was really close to Caleb. I grew close to Caleb during that time, because he came to visit Will, and I knew of Caleb, right? I hung out with my brother sometimes, and I would see Caleb, and during band and different things. But yeah, no, you'll have to tell him when he's back in chat. Yeah, but I didn't really get close to Caleb until he started doing the Let's Play videos, which was his dream. I think he wants to be a um, he wanted to do Let's Plays, and he still has this channel that he does Let's Plays on and does things for JDRF, which I think is awesome. Um, and I still try to encourage Caleb to get back to either streaming or whenever he has the time, of course. Because not everybody has time. He has a wife now and two puppers to take care of. But I do want to encourage him to keep the dream alive, to continue doing what he loves. And he does have a setup for it, I think. So, but yeah, no, Caleb's a great friend. He's a really great friend. I'm really appreciative of how he treated me and my brother whenever we were going through that. So, very, very good friend. Very, very good friend. Yeah, that was definitely the darkest time of my life. My grandfather passed away. That was right whenever I decided to quit Musically. And that was a hard thing too. I was going to college. My brother had just come home from the Navy. He got honorably discharged for depression and anxiety. And he decided to go to a college that was 2.5 hours away from where my parents lived. And yeah, I did not want him going alone, so I went with him. So, yeah, that was a time in our lives. That was a very difficult time in our lives, and Caleb was there for us. He was kind of a light in that dark time. I really, really appreciate him for that. It was before I knew a lot of my current friends too. Yeah, that was 2015, 2015-ish, 2016-ish. Yeah, that was a hard year. That was a really hard year. I would go back every weekend to visit my parents and my grandpa, who was still alive. So yeah, my brother came back from the Navy. My grandpa was still alive. I went back. I decided to go with him to go to the same college as him. Majored in art. And then when our grandpa, so I would visit every weekend, go back home every weekend and see mom and dad, and he would stay there. I never knew why. I would always tell him, look, man, I'm already driving. You can just come with me if you want. And he's just like, nah, I'm good. Maybe he needed his alone time. I don't know. I didn't know much about depression and anxiety back then. I still, honestly, I really don't know a lot about it. But my brother, he's much more quiet and reserved than I am, and we would butt heads all the time. Especially, that's the thing about my brother. He's he's a very emotional guy, but he's very quiet, so he bottles it up. But whenever my grandpa died, he was really comforting about it. Yeah, that was a really hard time for me. But I would visit my family every weekend, and whenever whenever I would go, I would see my grandpa, and I went bowling with him. And I actually went bowling with him the same day he had his heart attack. So I was there when that happened. And that was really hard for me. And that's whenever I got really emotional. And I was kind of being a dick to Will. I'm not gonna lie. Will's my brother. Um, and Caleb was just there. He was just there and being a really nice guy. And he was probably stressed out about all that too. He was probably like, Will and Josh, I drove 2.5 hours to see you guys, and you guys are being ass. I'm not gonna curse. Sorry. You guys are being dicks to each other. You guys are completely rude to each other, acting like brothers, of course. But he probably saw the worst sides of us, right? Um, because yeah, in the moment, whenever Grandpa died, my brother was really comforting, really, really nice about it. He knew that I was really struggling because I loved my grandfather. Um, and we had lived with my grandfather for 10 years, and my brother was really nice, but over time the depression and the you know the pain and everything just hit like a freight train, and me and my brother were at each other's throats. Um, but I would say just Caleb being there generally, he saw the worst of us, and he was still there for us. He had therapy sessions with us. He was just like, it was like, look, guys, I know I can understand both of your sides, but honestly, Will was just trying to keep me away from being a part of Brobits, in certain parts, and I would get mad at him for that, and he thought I was being too intrusive and too silly. And I was being like, you don't even watch your own show. What are you talking about, man? You don't even, So I was just being a jerk, back to him. And then, but now Caleb, he was just kind of the mediator between us during those hard times. And he must have thought, man, this sucks. Why am I here? It's just like I drove 2.5 hours for this, and yeah, but no, him being there actually, you know, in our bad mental states, I think actually helped us through it. Because I think it would have been a lot worse had he not been there. He's a good friend. He's a very good friend. And yeah, I hold him in very high regard. And so, whenever my grandpa died, a bit after that, my brother and I both dropped out of college, and I decided to go to a community college and major in art in that college. And I graduated from that college. My brother decided to stay, um, and I focused on my own mental health rather than his. And he actually started. That was probably the worst time for him. I think he kind of spiraled. Um, I should have probably stayed. I don't know. There's regrets, but that being said, eventually my brother came back home. Um, he tried going to college again. College has always been rough for us, for the brothers. We've never really liked it. I went to a community college and managed to graduate from that. I think my brother has an associate's too. I don't remember if he dropped out from that or not. I think he may have graduated. I don't know. I don't remember. But he also went to community college. I think he dropped out of that too. Like he wasn't able to handle that either. But after I graduated, I went to the University of Memphis to study Japanese because I was interested in living in Japan. I found out eventually I didn't need a degree because I have ancestry. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'll come to Japan on an ancestry visa. And this is all happening, by the way, like after Nisekoi. So this is like way after Nisekoi. When my grandpa died is basically when I stopped Nisekoi, and I was going to college at the same time. I was doing Nisekoi, so a lot of people were disappointed in me for that, but I was like, it's time, you know. That's kind of my thought process on that. You know, there's a time and place for everything, and I could not focus on a side project that I was passionate about, but I was really depressed for quitting. Because it was one of the things I really enjoyed doing. That kind of got me through it. Even with the copyright frustrations and the different things like that, I am hyper detailing this hair. Holy crap! I didn't even realize I've just been drawing hair this entire time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even realize that how much I missed it until I started doing it. Until I quit. And so that kind of put me in a depression. I tried to make other videos. I started a new channel that I didn't ever continue, called Talkin' with Josh. That was where I wanted to discuss politics and things because that was during the time Trump was getting popular. But eventually I decided against that, and I didn't continue that channel at all. It might still be out there somewhere in the ether of YouTube, but I can't even find it. So Caleb was kind of a saving grace there. He helped a lot with finding me things to do and focus on, still related to YouTube. So I continued doing bro bits with Will and Caleb. Eventually, Will became much more, you know, whenever he got better mentally. I didn't quit YouTube altogether. That's right. Yeah. Caleb really helped me with continuing, even though I stopped Nisekoi. And I also started animating around that time too. So it was a very developmental year for me. It was very, very difficult. You know, I basically had no romantic things going on that year at all. No girlfriends or anything. I had broken up with the girl I dated in high school through text, which was pretty wild. She's married now. Very interesting. She has a baby. You know, good for her. That's awesome. But yeah, that was a weird time in my life. That being said, I've recovered a lot since then. Mentally, I'm doing much better. Yeah, I didn't quit YouTube altogether. I wanted to continue doing different projects and things. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing that bothers me about the hair. It goes from swooping to sliding down, so I'm gonna transition that better. Instead of it going down immediately, I'm gonna keep it swooping. Keep it swooping, you know? You don't slide down until you finish swooping. I'm just gonna swoop it. Swoop it. But yeah, no, Caleb was really there for me and my brother, and you know, that's I appreciate him more than anything for that. And he was I would say he's one of my oldest friends. Um, I was sad that Nisekoi stopped. I understood it, and you got back up from all you went through in your depression, and now look what you've done. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing. Everything managed to work out, even if things could have gone differently. Things are pretty good right now, considering. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm in Japan, you know, and hey, imagine it's good to see you. I'm in Japan, which has been one of my lifelong dreams. My grandma died when I was 10. I never really got to understand her language or culture, so being here is kind of it's kind of mind blowing. I never thought I could ever be here, and yeah. So I put Caleb in one of my oldest friends category, even though because one he wasn't my friend so much in high school. He really became I really became close with Caleb in college, and actually his wife is one of my closest, not closest. His wife is one of the only friends that I have who was from high school and that I knew, which is funny because the last time I saw him before I went to Japan, for the before I moved to Japan, his and Caleb's probably gonna be like, Josh, have you been talking about me this entire time? But anyway, before I moved to Japan, I asked Caleb if I could go see him and hang out with him. Um, and he was like, yeah, sure, come on over. Mary will be there if you're okay with that. Mary is his wife. And I was like, yeah, sure. And the entire time, it was just me and Mary talking to each other, catching up. Um, because I hadn't seen her so much very often. And he was just like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot you guys were friends in high school. I was like, yeah. I mean, we had same classes together and everything. Yeah, Mary's my age, and Caleb's my brother's age, so I'm the youngest in my family. So I think Will's 30 now, and my brother's married too. Yeah, he's doing great now. There's a lot of things that are going on, but there's still some hardships here and there. But he's doing much better than he was during those times, I would say. And yeah, Caleb is definitely one of the people I look up to, and one of the people that I think is just incredibly compassionate, and yeah, so but yeah, there's a lot of laughs that he gave me during that hard time. So and one of Caleb's best friends, named Blake, he passed away of he had type 1 diabetes, and that was really hard for Caleb. And you know, there are stories about him just recollecting um, the times he had with his friend, um, to help comfort the family. So um, and he does streams for JDRF, the Junior Research Diabetes Foundation. He's such a good guy. I have nothing but high things to say for Caleb. Funny thing. Uh, Sorry, I got emotional talking about my friend. This is Yeah. Funny thing, he didn't know my middle name was Caleb for a long time. uh, yeah, that's just a funny side note. My middle name is Caleb, by the way. That's my middle name. Um, um, he just one day we were hanging out, playing games and stuff, and I think something along the lines of us saying, "Great minds think alike." Um, uh, um, and I was like, "Yeah, well, my name is also Caleb," and he was like, "No, it's not," and I was like, "No, it is. It actually is. Yeah, my middle name is Caleb." Shut up, you're lying. And I'm like, no, for real, it is. My middle name is Caleb. It's like, no, it's not, because I would know that. Is what he said. And I was just like, I can show you my driver's license. It has my middle name on it. And he's like, yeah, show me. So I showed it to him. He was like, why have you never told me this before? And I was like, it just never came up. So yeah. Caleb's been a great friend to me. He's been a great friend to my brother. Um, and he's such a cool guy to be around, to hang out with, and he still hops on my streams, and I really appreciate for that, him for that. Um, so I don't know how I got into this story just talking about Caleb, but I have his. That's how I got into it. I have his SNES games at my parents' house in America, because my brother took them so him and Caleb, because he would come over to stream for Brobits, on the Retron, which now I have in Japan. So, Caleb, if you ever want your games back, just go to Will and be like, hey man, where's my games? And tell him that Josh said it's in my room in that house. It's in one of the drawers in my room, so you can just open that up and grab them. If you ever want your SNES games back, because a lot of those I know are childhood games for you, if he's still lurking. Yeah, Caleb is one of the funniest guys I know too. So, highly appreciative of my friend. He's one of the few people I would say. He's actually one of the few people who was close to my brother before he was close to me. So he knew my brother in high school and was close to him before I really got to know him. And I knew his sister. I knew his sister before I knew him. And me and her got along okay. She's a sister, so similar senses of humor, I guess, but she's sassy. She's really good at flute. Or she was. She could be mean sometimes, I think, about other people, but what girl wasn't? And I'm sure she's matured a lot since then, hopefully. My sister definitely hasn't. I mean, has. I mean, in ways. In some ways she has, in some ways she hasn't. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about his sister. I didn't really know her all too well. I need to catch up with her if I ever see her again. But, his brother Matthew is pretty cool. I think he's married too. I think he got married recently. Maybe not recently, but I don't know. I'm just talking about Caleb's family now. I need to switch topics. Hey! By the way, Caleb's social security number is he's gonna look back at the stream and be like, "What the heck, Josh?" you guys should definitely subscribe to Caleb. I want him to achieve his dreams, and while I'm not entirely sure what they currently are, I do know that he wanted to be a streamer. And if that's still the case, you know, absolutely, he might just be postponing it for the time being. How does hair kind of fade? Caleb is the new Zelda, the lore. Actually, his middle name is Zelda. No. And I've talked to Caleb about personal things before, and even about things about girls that I liked at the time that I just didn't know how to approach. And he's just been informative, non-judgmental. I don't even think he remembers what I said or who I liked, but you know, he's just a good guy. So I'm glad to have met him, and I'm glad he is who he is. And I just wanted to express that, I guess. Yeah. I'm always excited to see him on stream whenever he pops up. He's one of those guys I'm just like, it's Caleb, you know? And I have a lot of friends. In Japan, I have 3 or 4 friends from the Memphis area who also moved here. And that we still hang out all the time. And it reminds me of whenever I hung out with Caleb. Caleb is much cleaner than they are, like language-wise. They're not good Christian boys like he is. But you know, my brother's a sailor, so he has the mouth of one. So I guess he's not either. And I need to work on my language as well. And Caleb's not a perfect guy, obviously, but you know, I really do look up to him. He's a good role model. This music makes me emotional. It's Caleb! Yeah, that's me. That's my reactions whenever I see him. I'm just genuinely happy. Talking about Caleb. Caleb, dang it, why'd you have such a big impact on my life? Why do I have to cry? Stop making me cry. On stream, live on stream, without even being here. Dang it, Caleb. No, I'm sure he knows how appreciative I am of him. Just the small things that he probably didn't even realize he was doing. He may have just been doing it for Will, you know. But it was a big impact on me. One of my fondest memories was going over to his college. He started going to college at in Mississippi, a Mississippi college, and I drove, I think, like 3 hours from where I was going to college in Mississippi State all the way down to that college. This hair's looking good. This is the hair stream. And we had so much fun just screwing around, recording stuff. We recorded. No, I was going to Northwest at the time which was the community college. I was going to community college at the time. I went down to where he was going to college, and not to dox myself saying I went to Northwest, but it's far enough away to where it's not that important. But that being said, one of the memories I have, I don't remember exactly what we were doing. It was during the time I think Undertale started getting big, and and so we were doing like the Papyrus and Sans shtick. There was a lot of just fun just hanging out with him at his dorm. And one of the things I remember doing is recording a because we had the microphone and we had an empty room, and I was like, hey man, I need to study for my exam. And it's all vocabulary, but I just, I don't remember any of it. And could you help me? And I was like, and he was like, well, we could just make a recording of your study guide and just, you can listen to it on the way home. And that's exactly what I did. So it was a lot of fun. I think we streamed that night. I don't remember though. I don't really remember. We either recorded videos. We recorded and we edited videos for his channel. I think that's what we did. And I'm a much chubbier guy now than I was back then. But you can see it's still on my YouTube channel around the same time of that, and Caleb was we did a stream, I think we did a let's play, or we started a let's play of Paper Mario Sticker Star, and man, that game was awful. But we did that at his house, at his parents' house, when he was still living with his parents before he got married to Maui. But yeah, I do feel like my streams have gotten to are definitely a vibe of, hey, I'm gonna draw, I'm gonna talk about things, and we're just gonna hang out. I think that's kind of the vibe. Yeah. Okay, so I have about 25 minutes. Let's see, about 20 minutes left. 20 minutes to keep drawing. Finish the hair, I think. Was this finished? Does this look finished? That's a nice cut. Go Vassa. Got that cut. Got that. I don't know any slang terms for cut. Got that. Yeah, that's how it was with the Sonic streams. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy streaming just because I get to talk about things and hang out. Talk about things I haven't talked about in a bit. I go on these random rants about Zelda or my friends or other things. And the fact that Caleb didn't know that my middle name was Caleb is just hilarious to me. That's... Yeah, my name is Joshua Caleb Stevenson. That's my full name. And it's just funny. It's just one of the funniest moments I've ever had, because he was so distraught about it. He was like, I know so much about you, but I didn't know this. It's like, I think his middle name is like, oh, I forgot his middle name. It's like Arthur or Douglas or I don't know. He told me that same time, but yeah, it's Josh. His middle name is Josh. No. I forgot his middle name. I knew it. It's unique. I'll let you know whenever I think about it again. I haven't thought about it since he told me. But he'll never forget my middle name. He'll never forget it now, because he knows it's Caleb. Just because of that story. That's a good way. By the way, memorization tips for learning, like Bible studying, right? I do Bible study, so I try to memorize verses and different things. Or language learning. And so yeah, it would be funny if his middle name was Josh. For language learning, um, stories are a very good way to memorize words, and stories tend to leave a stronger impact. The stronger the impact, the better it is to remember things. That looks good. Is that haircut good? That's a good haircut. Yeah, yeah. I think that we did good on that. It's definitely blonde. Now, can I replicate it? That's the question. But it looks kind of like mine. Yes, that's a fine specimen. Very good. Um, you can see me. You can see me in the old videos, the old Let's Play videos I have of Caleb. I was much skinnier. I have the chub now. The chub was kind of a result of me recovering from the kind of the trauma of my grandparents passing away and stuff. I tend to stress eat, which is not healthy. So yeah. But with Dance Dance Revolution, maybe I can gain my physique again. I don't know. I don't know. I never really put that much, you know, care in what I ate. I was a tennis player. I played, tennis. I basically ate whatever I wanted because I exercised so much. It was never really a problem for me. Now I'm drinking 2 milk teas in the morning with tons of sugar. But I definitely feel healthier now than I did back then. I was just chowing down, not really caring. I'm gonna edit the ear a bit, make it more ear-like. Did not mean to do that. Okay. But anywho, I'm usually only concerned whenever someone mentions it to me, that I've gained weight or that I'm not looking too good because I'm too tired or something. Also, lack of sleep will cause people to gain weight. That's important. Make sure to get your beauty sleep. Huh? And also, my dad became diabetic. My dad became diabetic as a result of his weight, and so he doesn't have type 1 diabetes. I think it's type 2 when you develop it. And so my mom started doing keto, which I did not like, and so I would always go out and eat McDonald's and different things instead of eating my mom's cooking, which I feel kind of guilty for. Maybe I should appreciate my mommy more. I love my parents. Maybe I'll have a stream on my parents someday. But yeah, as a result of my mom doing keto things and me not knowing how to cook, I went to McDonald's, Whataburger, tons of unhealthy places all the time. And now I only mostly eat Japanese food and burgers. The only American food I eat is burgers here, because there's McDonald's here. There's forgot what it was called. Shake Shack. They have a Shake Shack here. That's what I was thinking. They have Shake Shack. What do ears look like? Ear. Okay. Yeah, they have Shake Shack. So for a while, And you can really notice it in some of my older streams. Whenever I first started getting back on my feet, I gained quite a bit of like weight, like belly fat, and nothing wrong with being a little overweight, especially if you're healing. But yeah, these days I have little kids like grabbing my stomach and going puni 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 is what they say, which is the sound effect for like squishy squishy. And while it's adorable, it's kind of making me go, maybe I should lose some weight. Maybe I should diet a little bit. But I haven't really dieted at all. Which, because, it's... Maybe I should be at a healthy diet instead of I'm eating fast food all the time because I don't have time, diet. Which is another reason why I really hope streaming kind of gets off the ground and this manga gets off the ground. So that way I can have more time to cook foods and stuff. Because basically right now I'm working from 9:30 to 7:30. Because in Japan, they don't count your lunch break as a part of the hours that you work. And so I'm working basically 11 hours a day instead of 10 hours a day. Which is fine. I love kids. But if I can make that part-time and do this mostly full-time, I think I would prefer that. Squish, squish. That was the same kid who, whenever I had my arm like this, she put her head through here. She's one of the cutest kids. That's probably why I would still work for them even if I did streaming full time, Because I just love those kids. This song is particularly nostalgic. This is the opening theme from Ocarina of Time. Funnily enough, Ludwig, the YouTuber Ludwig, who used to be a Twitch streamer, he plays this song as his outro. And now whenever people hear it, people say, "Oh, this is the Ludwig outro song," and I'm like, "No, this is from Ocarina of Time." You look good. You look good though, as far as I can tell on camera. Why, thank you, Rihanna. I appreciate it. I would say, compared to how I was in high school, I was skinny as a rail, right? So you can actually see that in my Nisekoi stuff, Nisekoi era. But if you look at my bod, they go boony 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 boony. So I got some chub, right? Got the big booty, and then belly, a little bit of belly, and I have a kind of double chin, right? So, but I'm not considered overweight in America. I am considered overweight in Japan. Well, maybe not overweight, but like slightly overweight. But the Japanese standards are insane. So they might think I'm more muscular than I actually am. Because my body shape is kind of works with that. And also I'm an American, so they don't judge as hard. So, but yeah, I'm not too concerned about the looks of my body. I'm more concerned about my health because I've been eating burgers and ramen for a long time. And I think I'm a relatively handsome young man. I'm in my 20s, I'm in my prime. So I can stand eating ramen and noodles and stuff every day. But as I get older, that might not be the healthiest thing to do. So I either A, need to get married to someone who knows how to cook, which I'm not going to rely on that, or B, learn how to cook myself when I have the time to do so. And my friend John, who was the church friend I played Nintendo 64 games with, his wife, Sarah, offered to help me with making a grocery list of things that I like that are healthier, and go from there. So, but the milk tea, man, these things are are sugary, but they're so good. They're so good. It's an addiction. If any of you go to Japan, try the milk tea. Or if you have a boba tea shop in your area, get milk tea. It's good stuff. I don't know any other place in America besides boba tea shops that have like milk tea. So where does it kind of, yeah, okay. I think this cheekbone is insanely pronounced. It is like incredibly pronounced. A bit too much, I would even say. I'm gonna make that less sharp. Just slightly. I'm gonna just tone it down just a smidgen. I gotta do it on both sides. Needs to be relatively realistic. That was like Cruella de Vil sharp cheekbones. That was like Angelina Jolie. I will say she has a very, I think Angelina Jolie is incredibly attractive. And there's nothing wrong with having sharp cheekbones. But man, they are sharp. They are sharp. We need you to do more streams, so sleep well and eat well. Yes. Have to develop good habits now so your future self can thank you. Yes. I need to know how Bible ends. Yes. Bible ends with Lucy being saved. But you need to see it. You need to have it written. You need to have it drawn. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, she's an incredibly attractive woman. But she has some razor sharp cheekbones. You can like a jawline. It's insane. I don't know if there was surgery in that or if that just comes naturally to her, but just incredibly sharp jawline. I would say that's typically a masculine trait to have, but she works with it. She makes it look incredibly beautiful and feminine. So I don't know why I said Cruella de Vil when she played Maleficent, but yeah. Speaking of high school and women, there was this girl that everyone had a crush on in middle school. She went to our middle school and she eventually became an actress for Disney Channel. She moved to California. Her name was Olivia Holt, or is Olivia Holt. I had a big crush on her, as most boys did. But she moved away. I think, there's a lot of rumors of her dating people and stuff. But I knew all her friends. One of them unfortunately passed away in a car accident. But hey, that's not the same as reading the whole story. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But her and all her friends were incredibly attractive. And we were in the same English class. But now she does acting in Hollywood. Not really sure if she's the type of person I would want to date now. Like, I don't know if she's Christian or anything. I doubt it. Just being honest. But I did know I did. She was in the same class as me um, in middle school. We had the same teacher, same English teacher. So I knew her friends. The one that died in the car crash, her name was Chandler Pipkin. She was a very sweet girl. Her other friends that are still alive that I can remember. It's weird to say that are still alive. Most of her friends, I'm sure, are still alive. But the one that I can remember is a girl named Courtney, and we had a weird conversation in high school. We were in the same math class, and I think she was. I think I was. I just gave her like a religious talk or something. I don't know. I'm very openly Christian, and I talk about church and different things. Even in high school, I did that, and I think I did so in a way that made her slightly uncomfortable. So that's like the only memory I have of her friend. The only memory I have of her is I really liked her, so I drew pictures of her, as you do when you're an artist and you're young and hormonal. And thinking back, I cringe at that. That was kind of cringy. And then her friend Chandler, who died in the car crash later on in college, she asked me if I was drawing Olivia, and I blushed and just like kind of looked away, and she was like, "Ooh." But yep, there was that. She went on a show called Kickin' It, which was pretty cool. I never saw it really. She does singing stuff now as well. I don't know. I don't really know much about her. I haven't really kept up with her. I just know she's in Hollywood. So that's neat. That's neaterific. Let's see, what else? I was the kid who would sing Pokemon theme songs in middle school, and annoyed the heck out of my other friends who are going through emo phases. Gosh, Josh, you just don't understand. I was like, I like hot chocolate. I had a really good childhood. I was never discouraged to be who I am. And I know a lot of people are in that kind of environment. I was just, I don't know, I had the same sort of apathy my brother has, um, but in a different way. My brother's apathetic in a way where he just doesn't care. He does what he wants. Um, but he gives more of an appearance of apathy than like actually being apathetic. Because if you and sometimes he is apathetic about things, but he's not rude about it, right? Unless he is rude about it. Okay, let me backtrack. My brother is introverted and incredibly, to himself kind of guy. So he does his own thing. He doesn't really care about how other people perceive him. He's always been like that. Um, he had, unlike me, he has anxiety and depression, which causes him to not like crowds or being around people. Um, and he prefers to be alone. It's a miracle that he found his wife. Um, all that being said, which is an entirely different story for another day, but um, my brother would often act apathetic, and he's grown a lot since then. But I think my brother is actually genuinely caring, and I didn't really recognize that until after my grandfather passed away. And that's kind of probably why we fought a lot, like a couple months to the big grin of Caleb, after after Grandpa passed away, is because I saw he wasn't as apathetic as he let on, and I wanted him to like actually care, about other people's problems and stuff. But he wouldn't budge on certain things, like, and he was probably mad at me for being the brat that I was. But still, we've seen the worst parts of each other. I probably didn't witness like the worst part of him in his most depressive state. My parents witnessed that though. So, Caleb, I just finished talking about you for a long stream. I got emotional. I'm just saying I love you, buddy. Anyway, do with that information what you will. Had a chiropractor visit and I'm back. Very good. I was talking about how much I appreciate you helping me and my brother through probably the hardest time. Yeah, yo, Caleb, Josh has been talking about you for hours. Shut up. No, I haven't. Shh. No, it's fine. Yeah, but oh my gosh. I mentioned the fact that you were helping me and my brother during the hardest times in our lives. You probably saw the worst of us during that time. I got pretty emotional there because like those small gestures that you have. Yes, you have. Those small gestures that you've given us, traveling so far just to visit us during that time, in the worst of us. Yes, that was probably one of the kindest things I've ever seen anyone ever do. And I really appreciate you, not only as like a friend, but as a role model too. You're a really good guy. And yeah, and yeah, so I have been talking about you for probably hours. I mentioned a couple of stories with you about how I went to your dorm and we literally hung out at your dorm for quite a long time. And then I was like, oh, by the way, I need to study for this test. So can we just record it? You record the study guide so that way I can go home like for 3 hours or however far away it was, maybe 5 hours. I don't remember. I think it was 3 hours. So I can go back for 3 hours and take the test tomorrow, with that just playing on loop, right? And I did that. I also mentioned the story about how you didn't know my middle name until like last year. And now you'll never forget it because it's just your name. That was funny. Yeah. I mentioned how I wish I could be there more for you. Even because you've been there a lot for me and my brother. And and I think like the only thing I could really do for you during your hard times with Blake was just be there for the funeral. And because I didn't tell you, that's right. It never came up. That was last year, yeah. Yeah, I forgot that was yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I told him about how Mary and I started talking the last time I visited you. And you were like, oh yeah, you guys were friends in high school. And yeah, that was funny. So it was just a lot of fun. Oh my goodness, yeah. So, oh, by the way, Caleb, I have your SNES games in my parents' house. It's in one of my drawers. I think that Will took them for Brobits like a long time ago. I don't know. They're just there in my house, my parents' house, in my room. And so if you ever want them back, just go and tell Will, hey Will, can I come over to pick up my SNES games? And he'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot we had those or something. And you can just come on in. You're always welcome, of course. Yeah. So they're there. I was trying to find my 64 games, and I found them in that drawer. So I don't know if you want them back. They're your childhood. I was talking about my childhood being the 64. Your childhood was the SNES, I'm sure. I was saying how Yoshi's Story. That's how we brought up you. Yoshi's Story was playing the song with the Yoshis, and I was talking about how the graphics of Yoshi games were insanely good. And then I was like, oh yeah, by the way, the SNES, Yoshi's Island, yeah. Yeah, I basically met Mary through y'all, and oh, cool, my SNES games. I wonder where those were. Yeah, I was talking about how the graphics of Yoshi games are just way too like they age really well compared to other games, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, Caleb's SNES, like in Yoshi's Island, and I was like, wait, SNES, Yoshi's Island, Caleb's SNES games are in my house, so yeah, they're there if you want them. Um, I don't think all of them are there. I don't think we have Earthbound, for example. I think you have that still because I think you didn't want to part with that. But we do have pretty much all of them. Sorry. Oh my gosh! And with that, I actually have to end the stream. Yeah, it's like 8:05. I need to head out. Yeah. Sorry to leave you on that. Let me finish this ear real quick. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Yeah, but I love you, Caleb. You're a really good friend. You've been really good to me and my brother. And and yeah, if you ever want to like, I want everyone to subscribe to this man right now if you haven't already. And when he does live streams or follow him on Twitch, you know, one of my favorite things is I have Yoshi's Story inbox signed by Freezax. I also have Earthbound. Wow. Why is it signed by Freezax? I mean, that's cool and all. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's funny. He just signed it. He was just like, I'm going to be famous one day. Here you go. That's funny. But yeah. Anyway, I've been talking about you for hours. If you want to go through, I got emotional. I even sorry, I had a ditch earlier. I got emotional, but you know, just talking about how you were there for me and my brother. So if you're interested in that, you can always look at the VOD. But yeah, follow him on Twitch. He does JDRF streams. I think his Twitch name is the same, Calibrated Gamer or Calibrated Gamer. Collaborated, calibrated. He is not the friend I deserve, but he is a good one. You know, I do not deserve such kind-hearted and hilarious man as my friend. So, and I really didn't become really close friends to Caleb until that era, whenever me and my brother were at each other's throats. So, oh, okay. Free sent it to you and you asked him to sign it. So this is what we got done today. We finished the hair. Yeah, this is the non-mirrored side. Yeah, we finished the hair. Next time we're going to go on and continue on to the mouth. We also finished the ears. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's got that style going on. I am really enjoying it. But yeah, it's been so much fun. You're too sweet, man. Never regretted a moment. And yes, Twitch, Twitter is the only places I am ever on occasionally. No worries, Caleb. If you're ever interested in streaming with me and like playing games or something, just let me know. I don't know if there's any like online multiplayer stuff we could do. But I kind of want to eventually have like a fun Friday sort of thing instead of it just being me drawing all the time, and maybe doing video games on Fridays. And you know, I can have you join on Discord or something, and we can stream together. So that would be fun if you're interested. But anyway, I gotta go to work. I'm gonna chug this milk tea real quick. Yes, so Caleb had a big impact on my life, and I don't think he even realizes it. But yeah, he was a light in a dark time, and you know, I think he's been a really good friend. Gotta move this. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I'd love to play a game with you on stream sometime. Don't be late for whatever the thing you've got after this. Yeah. That being said, I've only had 5.5 hours of sleep. Not the best thing, but if I go to bed early tonight, maybe I'll stream tomorrow, you know? Or even if I don't, I'll try to stream tomorrow. Until next time. Thanks again, everybody, for hopping in. We got quite a bit done. Hair. We got hair and ears done. Very, I am curious to see how long it'll take to actually finish the manga if this is the way where I'm going. But then again, I'm designing. It's not just drawing, it's also designing. So, yeah. It's going to be good. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Where's my mouse? There it is.